Can't wait for them to start. They should be going any second. Looking at our secret commentator info.
Yeah.
Mostly just
The
downstream
SRL
delay.
race that anybody
Yeah, they're
join.
that's how always anyone can enter. It's secret commentator info. You ruined it. All right, they're going. Nothing to talk about in the tutorial area, so we just kind of make fun of the players' outfits because you can change your character dress up, and it looks like Kale is Cotton Candy Shrek. And honestly, I admire the confidence it takes to go through with that outfit. I admire nothing else. My eyes
It
are
pops
burning.
a little bit, you know, green
Yeah.
and pink. It's like, what else is green and pink in the game?
I feel like I should be getting out of someone's swamp right now, but you know, it's the outfit certainly.
Ziggy, on the other hand, is going with, well, when you said cotton candy as the first two words, I assumed you were talking about Ziggy because he is rocking the pink ruby dress with the pink skin as well, and some cute little cat ears. You know, cat
Yeah.
ears are well known to be good luck on these races.
Yeah, he's got the. I don't see anyone else use his wings actually.
Yeah, the Ira wings. I used those at first because they're nice and modest. You know, I thought that the
Yeah.
regular V wings were a little too big.
That's a nice outfit. All right, so getting into the actual gameplay now. Not much to talk about yet. If you're familiar with this game, you'd already know, but we're gonna do the basic explanation. You start with just one jump, but this game's not like the average platformer game. You can actually walk off of a platform and just save that jump and use it in midair, and this is going to be true even when the players are getting way more movement abilities, like multiple types of jumps.
And then not just dropping off ledges, but right there when an enemy hits them. When you get hit in this game, you kind of get popped up into the air a little bit, and you can also jump out of that to gain a little bit of extra height. And
So yeah, that,
you know,
that skip
good
saves about
old-fashioned
5-6. It's good. Okay. They're about to get another power up here, which is the flutter jump. It's like a different type of jump that's really floaty and momentum based, and it's not tied to your other jump at all. You can use it in any order, which you'll see basically in the first screen after they get it. Really adds a lot of flavor to this game's platforming.
Yeah, it's a different button. You've got your jump button and you've got your flutter button. Which I guess flutter is the action button because it'll get more uses later.
Yeah, it's also going to be used for sliding on the ground.
We've also got a few different weapons going on here that you see the players using. Right there, that big attack was called Sloth. It does the most burst damage in the game, but it's very slow to use. So it's good for situations like that where you just want to smack something in one hit. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Greed is the one that has the little circle that goes around the player. That has the highest actual DPS in the game. And there's a few other weapons that you'll see as well.
We'll be seeing Greed most of the time just because the omnidirectionality has a huge amount of utility value, and if you can use it on a boss, it's often the fastest weapon to kill it with because of the damage output, but most of the game's weapons do get their individual place to shine.
Yeah. Particularly on these teleporting guys, fire guys, materializers, phraselos,
Chars.
charers.
Don't forget the names.
They you'll see the players use the main weapon a lot of the time, which is just the big crescent arc that hits. And the reason is that hits for 4 damage very quickly, and those enemies happen to have 4 health. So it's nice to get a little bit of extra range.
That weapon has excellent burst damage because it has a delay between swings, but you know, if you don't have that delay, it swings pretty much instantly and kills really fast. Not much to talk about on this boss. You just kind of hit her 3 times. You can hit her between each attack. There's really no more to say. It's sort of a tutorial boss to get you used to the game.
Yeah, one interesting thing is that even though her attacks are RNG, she only has 3 attacks, and she always chooses all 3 before repeating anything. So it's pretty consistent time-wise. The only thing that's inconsistent time-wise is that one of her attacks is the summon attack, which actually has its own set of 3 things that it could do.
She summons the fire guys, and they just sort of teleport to the corners and just go camping out there. It's kind of annoying. Nothing you can do about that besides wait patiently. So, the area they're in right now, this is actually really cycle-based, because if you go fast in this area, or you reset it...
Ziggy's going for the thing? Oh, no, he's not.
You can guarantee that you have good cycles and go through the platform really quickly. One tiny slip up though can mess up your cycle and make you have to redo a bunch of stuff or do it differently. A really shining example of that is if you're on the right cycle, at the end of the section you see Kale and Ziggy on, there's going to be a flying enemy chasing you, which are called configs. So you can actually use the damage boost to a higher ledge, but really only works if you're on the right cycle because that shooting turret up there really gets in your way, so you have to go on just the right moment. and neither of the players went for it because it's really risky and timing based.
Yeah,
It does save like a couple seconds though.
Right, when you're
You'll see
going
really
for
good
PB
runners use
attempts
it.
and you see somebody go for that and nail it, it is quite beautiful.
It's completely safe if you're very, very cognitive of exactly what cycle you're on. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Or if you just didn't do everything perfectly, like you said.
Yeah, no. The areas were not perfect. It's easy to like mess up slight things on that platforming, for sure. So this boss is oh Kale. They both got good RNG!
Wow,
What?
nice.
He has 5 attacks. This is the best one because you can kill him right there.
Oh my gosh, and they both just nailed it.
Oh, this is so close.
So that boss doesn't have very much health, and you can actually kind of just tank his attacks, unlike most of the other bosses in the game. And then also his RNG is crazy how much variance it takes.
Yeah, if you get worst RNG, it's actually 10 seconds slower than just getting that attack, which we call vomit. Okay, they both got good skips. So this is falling skip. You're supposed to go for a sort of auto-scroller section where you wait around and dodge missiles. You get free movement where you can go up, down, left, right during it. If you actually escape it by jumping outside, by confusing the game, you get to take these physics outside of the intended area by landing in just the very, very, very corner of that bit, and it sort of just gives you this glitch. This is about 12 seconds faster than if you just jump over it normally without getting these physics.
They're so synced.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy, actually. What's happening? They're perfectly in sync! The only thing that shows that we have 2 different game captures is the outfits. Look at this. Frames off each other. I'm freaking out.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy too. Like Ziggy took longer to skip the cutscene, but then slid to the feather faster. Oh my gosh.
This is completely nutty.
So the players are on their way to the next boss here, and the interesting thing that starts happening now is that after this boss, they're going to have to backtrack back to town, which means that they're going to start skipping checkpoints here, so that after they defeat the boss, they can just death warp back to town and save, 30 seconds. However, it's risky because checkpoints refill your health, and if you die, you respawn at the checkpoint. So if you die to this boss, since they didn't get hit, the first part is irrelevant, but if you die to the boss, that means they have a lot more platforming to redo.
What makes this spooky is that you can actually damage boost to get to the boss arena faster, but that means you have to enter 65 HP, and it's really, really easy to screw up that damage boost. One of the hardest in the game. Almost no one does it for that reason.
Right, yeah, like it's already kind of high-level play to skip checkpoints before this boss and defeat it that way. But, right, that's like even more next level is, okay, now let's use our health as a resource to get to the boss faster and then fight him with less HP.
And you want to save at least 60 health for this boss, since if he's doing his jumping and spinning attack, you want to take 20 damage each jump to do more damage output to him. So it's like, you might just end the fight with 5 HP even if you played perfectly, just because that's what the game, just the cards they dealt you. Ziggy is slightly ahead here.
Now, we didn't really get to talk about Pergora's Enrage because he didn't get a chance to do it before our runners killed him. But Electram, when he got to 40% health, he kind of went into this invulnerable phase and did a bunch of attacks while you can't damage him, and that's going to be pretty relevant for most
we're going to talk about enrage phases of bosses really common, because most bosses in this game have something where they hit a threshold and something about the fight changes, or it's a special attack, or the fight gets harder, and we will call those enrages. So, they're progressing fast. This is going to be a really pivotal section of the game. It's an extremely big run killer. It's really a big deal in races because they're going to be skipping a large section of the area, but in doing so have to go through a ton of enemies and obstacles with no checkpoints in the way. There's a lot of ways to do it with various values of, like, risk and speed, and if you die there, it's incredibly punishing.
Yeah, and it's another one of those parts where you're skipping checkpoints and you're doing big skips and having to go a long way without getting a checkpoint, and at the same time, everything that's faster also costs health. So you have to balance
Ziggy's
out.
gonna tank off the rotating blade because if he's on the good cycle to do it, which takes 35 HP as opposed to taking a shot from the bug, but takes a very long time to get shot by the bug if you're just waiting around for it. This is actually really... Oh, his cycle's perfect!
Yeah,
that's the fastest cycle!
He's doing this amazingly.
He had to delay on that rock thrower too, because these rock throwers have death explosions, and he held back for just the perfect amount of time to get the fast cycle still. Going for cave skip, please first try. Yes!
Oh my gosh, and he dodged the rock too, which means he's probably going to go into Amethyst with 80% health.
And don't ignore that Kale's right behind him.
Oh my gosh.
Kale? First try, both runners. This is so close. That's not easy. That skips hard.
Yeah.
This is
If they
beautiful.
both defeat Amethyst in a proper way, which I'm sure they will, this is like the best Amethyst I've ever seen.
Cave skip is not free. Let me just quote our world record holder. I suck at cave skip. Cake Sauce 2018. Oh
Cake
my
Sauce, who
god.
only goes for it once and then just does the troll cave if he misses it.
Okay, I was talking about how this could be a pivotal area where maybe one dies and like loses for 30 seconds, but those were so clean. Those veils were beautiful.
Yeah, they made it look easy.
This pace is really good for both runners because not only have they like not really been making many mistakes or anything, but they got good RNG on Pergora too. This has been really fast. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that maybe like the platforming like on the way to Pergora was not perfect, but like this pace is really, really nice.
Yeah. So this boss's Enrage is this big death beam that she shoots. She does it twice per battle, and each time that she does it, she actually speeds the fight up. So every attack afterward is more dangerous because it goes faster. Whoa, Ziggy knows exactly where the lightning goes. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do. I just don't.
It really helps if you do. Good, pretty good control on the bubbles. They circled them perfectly. And Ziggy is done. 11 minutes. Okay, if you look at his in-game timer, that was like 1040 on kill. That is really good pace. That's an excellent run start.
And Kayle is just behind. And yeah, both players skip the checkpoint in front of Amethyst, which again saves backtracking to town. So they can go right to the Sinister Grotto, the next area of the game.
So you have to use your range attack to shoot these switches to put down those lasers temporarily. Lasers do instant kill you, do not touch them. We didn't really talk about the range attack because it's kind of low damage, but it will be really relevant because the next boss is immune to the regular attack. This range attack, it just has a clip of 3, and as you fire them, they'll slowly regenerate, and your damage pacing is just really limited by how many orbs you have in the first place. These runners are so close. It's freaking me out.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, Kayle's going under.
Is Kayle going for underdog? Oh no, just the first one. A lot of people do the first one.
Going under's cute. It saves no time. It just looks cool. Alright, you see that weapon Ziggy used twice, you'll never see it again. That's literally the only time people use it in a run, and not even all of the runners.
Did he use
Ziggy...
Wrath?
Yeah, he used Wrath. Ziggy did the despawn strat where he spawns all the enemies and then goes back down to the save, because when you take a save for the first time, it'll kill some on-screen enemies for you, so he activated all of the enemies on screen, deleted them all to go through the area really safely. Looks
Kayle
like
did it
Kayle
as well.
does the same strat.
Now, I thought that... I don't think that Ziggy does that strat in runs, though. I didn't think so. I wonder if it's a safety strat.
If he did it for the race, it's because it's way safer than the other strat.
Ooh, that's what I was saying, yeah.
It's like extremely marginally slower, and it's a lot safer. So
except during my last race when I tried to go for that and accidentally jumped up into the laser when I tried to spawn the 2 plants up there.
You're gonna have to get a little less relatable on commentary. Just saying. So Ziggy took a mine. Is he gonna take the save before the boss as a backup? Yeah. You could see him thinking about just like hovering straight down, like, But if he had died there, he had not taken a save for like 3 saves, so I get it.
Yeah.
Most runners in PB attempts do not take these saves. You see his Kayle going right past it because he has full health. Needs to make up those couple seconds anyway.
So this is Dark Annihilator. As Shark, I mean, mentioned earlier. Cake's about to race Shark later.
If I'm Cake, can I have world record?
You can only...
the boss now, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was stammering a bit. You can only damage this boss with orbs. You cannot damage him with melee. So the orbs really come into play here. But you don't just have infinite orbs and you can't shoot them as fast as you can hit the button. Instead, they recharge at a set pace. Which means that these extra things like these bombs that the Dark Annihilator shoots out, you'll see the players purposely hitting with melee, specifically so that they don't use up orbs that they need to be damaging the boss with in order to take those down. And it's really important to hit those bombs because if you let those hit the floor, it carpets the floor in some green flame that does not go away until the boss walks past it. Because also the boss is walking forward the entire time.
Walking you to your death, the arena's of a limited size.
Yep.
Keep going. If you
this is one of
the bots, they heal the boss. A lot to multitask on.
Yeah, it's a very, very impressive looking boss always. So Ziggy takes it down, Kayle takes it down.
Yeah, As long as you use only melee attacks to kill bombs and bots, and you're continuously firing as often as you can so your clip doesn't max out, you can kill that boss at an optimal pace. Okay, so this section, you don't really need to skip the saves, but they're just kind of slightly out of the way, so most runners do, because they're confident enough that they won't make a platforming mistake. But because of that, if they do make a platforming mistake, they can lose like 40 seconds here and just like wreck their race pace.
Yeah. It's super nerve-wracking to skip these saves, but after a while, you just do it every time.
You just get used to it after a while, and it kills like the rare run. You just really, really hope it doesn't.
It's really, it's funny too. I was saying that during a blind playthrough, it's the idea of skipping a save is like, is unbelievable because the game is so much just like checkpoint by checkpoint. You just barely make it through everyone. Every time that you see a new checkpoint, it's like a godsend.
There's not much to talk about in this area because this is like the most auto-scroller, like area of the game. It's just sort of a nice place to take a breather.
Yeah, I don't think we
past
didn't
this,
really talk about the switches.
it
The
gets-
fact that the switches take down the lasers, they're instant kill lasers.
We
I think you
mentioned
might have
it.
said that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now there's
There's not much to
minecarts
say.
too.
But yeah, after this, it's going to get more pivotal. Like, the further you go in the game, generally the more difficult the platforming gets. There's going to be way more higher chance of small flubs here and there. People are going to be going for fast strats. The bosses are going to have like a lot more skill of execution to kill them quickly, or they're just going to be more choky, you might die. But yeah, they're coming on Terravine now. This boss has 6 attacks, so probably going to see most of them. In between, like every 3 attacks, he's going to use an instant kill attack. You're going to have to go to the left and send those minecarts flying at his face to stop it. Runners will usually... Ziggy's using Lust on this attack. That's terrifying. He got paralyzed! Ah! I think he's fine, okay. He got 1 attack he could dodge while paralyzed.
Yeah,
He stood really close and still dodged. That was like... All those spores were just scraping his hitbox. Some of those spores are really, really bad to get hit by. Got any other attack during paralysis. Yikes.
Yeah, he left a minecart to be safe also.
Yeah, just in case he doesn't get enough damage and he has to do another big laser attack.
If that ended up killing him also, that would have tied the race up right
Kale
there.
fell off. He didn't get his minecart. He had to reset the fight.
Yeah,
This put
that's...
Ziggy significantly ahead.
Yeah, significantly for this race, which
You'll
has been
probably
just so
see
close.
Kale take all 3 minecarts for the little bit of extra damage they do, because if you have anywhere near good damage pace, you should be able to kill the boss before he does the second giant laser. Yeah, there we go. And these runners just getting paralyzed left and right, they're scaring me. That's why people don't usually try and use a long-range melee weapon on the Spores attack, because it takes a lot of commitment to actually change your weapon in this game, because you have to hold the button down for a bit and then manually shift it over. And on top of that, to actually stay close enough to hit him during Spores, it's just really, really close to the Spores, and it sucks to get hit by them. Ziggy kind of had to wait. That guy's in the gap. He can't really move until the fire goes away.
Yep,
Kinda
and Kale will be
RNG.
catching up here. So they're in the underworld now, and they're about to pick up another mechanic, which is a little dash wing that makes it so that you can, after you... Well, you'll see it when it happens. First, there's a portal to take down. Talk about Skelemen quick kills here.
Oh, skeletons. See, they'll get spawned right in the center.
Oh, that was
Oh,
nice.
it's so hard. You can do 7 damage before they dash for you, but the timing is actually really tricky on it, because they dash almost immediately, and they also wiggle back and forth while preparing to dash. And their position and movement is like super based on your own as well. But if you do it just right, you can actually just spawn gank them so they don't get away. It saves a lot of time if you do it to both of them.
Yeah, the Skelemen, they move really weirdly, and they can be really difficult to damage sometimes just because of where they like to hang out.
They
and
can
then
clip
also,
through the floor, through walls. They just kind of go where they want. But
Yeah.
because they go where they want, you can use them for strats in some areas. Because there's some barriers in this game. They check for on-screen enemies, not if you actually kill the enemies, like the one you see on Ziggy's screen right now, where he has to kill these guys. You can sort of just push skeletons or convince them to dash off-screen, and the barriers just happily go down for you.
So now Ziggy's got these dash wings, and Kale is going to be taking them as well. And once you collect those, you can just hit the flutter key. The next time that you hit the flutter key, it'll send you in an 8-directional dash. And then this one's got a 4 on it, so you've got 4 dashes that you use to get through all those Black holes.
Alright, Ziggy's on Craterack. This is another orbs only boss. A lot of damage is going to come from an attack where Craterack can send rocks from the ceiling. You need to hit them back at him. It's pretty tricky to hit all 5 of his rocks back at him because their spawn positions are super based on your current position and your momentum. So Ziggy was trying to get a good setup on their spawns, but in doing so got hit and only hit 3 of them. Not optimal. Also, Craterack's a pain because if you shoot in between the heads, the orbs miss. If you shoot on the heads while they're attacking, the orbs miss. There's a million ways you can miss damage on this boss, and the RNG sort of compounds that by giving you attacks at an inconvenient time.
Yeah. Craterack's the great boss, in short.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of room for a really good runner to show their ability to take out the boss quickly, for sure. But it's really easy for this boss to go south. Especially because if you fall on the ground, they'll just start ping-ponging you back and forth. You just feel terrible.
Yeah, the boss throws you back when he hits you, but the ground throws you forward, and you've just got these platforms to stand on. The boss also, like, it looks like he just lunges forward with one head on the lunge attack, but his whole body moves forward, and you really have...
You get hit by them.
Yeah, you have a really small part of the screen to actually dodge. It looked like Kayle got 4 rocks there.
The third one may have missed because I couldn't tell without hearing the audio.
Yeah.
Sometimes you swear the rock hits him, but just kind of like hits the ground and just clips his model slightly and doesn't actually deal the damage. Rocks are really finicky and uncomfortable to deal with. Oh, Ziggy's moving on.
Yep. So Ziggy is collecting these 3 keys now. You come to a fork in the road where you've got 3 ways to go. Each way has a key at the end, and then has they're all designed to be challenging going to the key, and then extra challenging going back to the fork.
But they're
However,
save warping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just don't take the saves, and then you can just death warp back to the fork in the road each time you collect a key, and you save all the time having to backtrack.
It does mean you have to skip a useful save on the hardest key, though, the top key, which you will see runners do so they don't have to walk back from that save. So
and Kayle is going top first, so they're actually going to be both doing what you're talking about right now.
Synchronized. Yeah, they're just going to skip that yellow save without taking it. Those black holes instantly kill you, as well as the spikes, so you need to be really careful in that section.
Kayle got really close, too,
Yeah,
on his last dash, but it worked out.
Well, Ziggy's done. Kayle has 2 more keys to get. Ziggy's maintaining his small lead here. So, upcoming, they're going to be doing a bit of a difficult thing on the 4th key. There's going to be an area with 4 enemies that spawn in the top left corner, but since I mentioned those fog barriers despawn when, there's no more enemies on the screen, it's going to happen that you can actually kill just one of the fire guys from the top left and still escape to the right before the barrier respawns. Ziggy's going for it, yeah.
Nailed it. Beautiful.
If you screw that up and the second guy spawns, the fog ball will respawn while you're inside of it, trapping you inside, and you're pretty much dead at that point, likely.
And then here's the biggest damage boost in the game. Ziggy's going to lure this conving over here and then not take the checkpoint. So
oh, that was so close.
Enemies. That was really close.
Almost.
And he actually, right. So that's a boss there. It has a hitbox in the middle of the screen that triggers the boss fight when you walk into it. But if you damage boost off of a conving, you can just barely make it over the trigger that starts the boss and completely skip it.
The trigger is not actually that big. What you really need is the invincibility frames to get above the trigger before you get hit a second time by the boss's hitbox.
Yeah, because the boss's hitbox is active. So
it's gigantic too.
When you jump up into that statue in the middle, it hits you, and so it takes some.
Kayle gets it too.
Yeah, it takes some careful control to not let that screw you up. Also,
Kayle's going for a second try.
Yeah,
he wasn't confident the first time. I don't blame him.
Yep.
So Ziggy's gonna refresh this because he wants to get library skip with the good cycle here. When you cancel your dash at the very end of a flutter, it actually adds some of the extra vertical momentum onto the flutter itself, but you need to be careful with doing it at the very, very end of your dash since flutter cancels dashing. He did get the skip.
Yep, beautiful. He got the good cycle too.
Progressing nicely. Yeah, those big stompy brute dudes, if they look at you, they fire a laser. Don't get lasered. It's very bad. But he got the good cycle and didn't wait for him at all. Yeah,
the laser does 50 damage, which is half of your health, and then also paralyzes you.
Ziggy heard us on commentary. He wanted to get lasered, so we know what lasers are.
They also paralyze you, so you generally just get shot a second time as well.
Yeah, don't get lasered. Okay, Kayle's going for library skip. Also good.
He's going from... Oh, okay, but he's
He didn't get
he's
the fast
resetting
cycle.
the...
Yeah, he's resetting the cycle here because he didn't get the fast one. So he has to wait while the guy's just stomping around. Those black holes that rotate instantly kill you, by the way, as many things do in this game, like tiny foot-sized spikes and chainsaws.
And that's why you'll see players sometimes come to checkpoints and just reset, so that they reset the cycles, reset the timer. Oh, Kayle got lasered also, but he's just going for it? Okay, he got lasered the second time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason that players will just hit the reset key on checkpoints is to make those things more predictable.
Alright. Really pivotal moment coming up for Ziggy. The next boss, Miyogi, again, first boss of the game, comes back. She has a 40-second invincible phase in the middle of the fight. You can skip it, but it's hard, because you need to actually, like, interrupt the phase transition in a 4-frame window in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, how it works is every 8 times that you damage her, you stun her, and then when she goes under 40% health, she tries to enrage. But the boss also has a mechanic where you can only hit her every once in a while. Every time that you hit her, she puts up a shield, and if you hit her while she's shielded, you heal her. So runners will actually exploit the healing in order to get her health at just the right amount that they want it, where when they send her under 40 HP, they can then hit her with the 8th attack that will stun her just in that 4-frame window that she's trying to start her enrage attack, thus canceling the enrage.
Okay, Ziggy had to wait there for an audio cue, because if you get the wrong attack during this phase, it messes up your setup, because she's about 40% now. Ziggy's gonna wait for this attack, hit her twice.
Oh,
Was that it? Was that it?
No, he missed it.
Ooh.
Ziggy missed it. If Kayle gets it, Kayle's ahead.
40 seconds time loss. I don't know if Kayle's ahead. If
I think Kayle will be ahead if he gets it.
But it will make him even, if nothing else. Yeah, this is huge. Look how long this phase is. Ziggy hasn't been able to do damage for so much time. This like actually evens out the race. Well, assuming Kayle can get the skip. This is Kayle's chance to shine. This will be super close if Kayle gets it. Because Kayle's coming up on the skip right here, on this phase. So as soon as she hits 40, he's going to wait for the bouncing rocks attack, then hit her twice. Okay, should be the next attack.
Here it is.
See if Kayle gets it.
I
Kayle
think he got it. He got it.
He's still behind Ziggy, right?
Yeah, he's still slightly behind, but look at this.
Look how close they are now. Like, Kayle actually made up 40 seconds worth of difference in one 4-frame moment.
Yep, Miyogi 2 is just such a huge part of the run when the players are this close and when they're both, you know, making so few mistakes. That is just a huge thing. Oh, and he lava skipped.
Jesus. His feet were like taking a nice warm foot massage in the tomato juice when the lava finally disappeared thanks to the cutscene. Christ, that was close. Well, I guess Kayle's like, hey, if I can save time, I can save time. Gotta get my lead back. Dude. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, wow. So yeah, they're on the same checkpoint now. Coming up on the infamous password room, we'll see if the curse continues, where the player who's ahead cannot enter the password correctly.
The password's a great meme because it's the same every time, but this tournament's been cursed. People keep flubbing inputs or entering it incorrectly, trying to do it quickly. Can Ziggy enter the password?
Yeah!
Yeah!
Alright, Ziggy's got it. Alright, here comes Kayle. Kayle's got to keep his... Oh, he's a little confused. Oh, yeah!
Kayle the showman, pretending that the password's difficult. The classic meme.
Oh my gosh, Ziggy went for Ogre Skip and missed it!
Kayle's ahead!
That puts Kayle ahead.
It's not really a skip, more like a fast cycle that Kayle got right there. Those black holes do instant kill you, so you need to be on the good cycle to go for without waiting a few more seconds.
Ziggy got it the second time.
This is so close. Kayle's ahead now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a tiny mistake. So this is the ceiling room. You got to hit these switches to get the ceiling to stop chasing you for just a moment and use those, except for use those to have enough time, except that these last 4 switches, it's faster to just skip them all than it is to have to go through and actually hit them all. There should really be an achievement for actually hitting all of the switches.
Kale
because
took
I
a
don't think
tiny
anybody-
death, by the way, so they're like dead center even right now. This is 30 minutes into the run. They're seconds off each other. Anything could happen. The tiniest mistake in platforming will just switch the lead again. And something like a major boss choke, it's going to be extreme. Ziggy takes the lead because of a minor platforming mistake.
Yup. Oh my
This
gosh.
This is such a roller coaster. Back
Oh
and
wow!
forth.
Also, Kale is stopping to kill the Skelemen. While
Ziggy
oh
messed
my
up his
gosh!
pacifist strat. Ziggy has to redo it.
Yeah.
Ziggy's going for pacifist skeletons, where he's going to make both skeletons fly off screen at the same time, skipping for the barrier, while the centaur just gleefully flings himself into the abyss.
However, he landed too early, and the centaur was not going to jump off into the
they
abyss.
both made mistakes.
So he had to reset.
Even. They're making the same mistakes. Oof. I'm freaking out.
It's scripted. It's all fake.
It's actually all fake. Tune into the next WrestleMania. Who's the heel then?
I was just gonna ask that.
I think Ziggy's too wholesome. I think Kale has to play the role of heel, whether he wants to or not. So this is the Twin Orcs quick kill. If they don't do this fast enough, the Orcs are going to do like a sort of enraged attack, and one of those possible enraged attacks is invincible. You really don't want them to enrage. So they're fighting the boss off the platform, floating over the abyss, so they can do damage while dodging at the same time. During the Red Orc phase, though, they're going to be tanking a lot of hits, so they need to save as much HP as possible. Kale's chip purple down very low. His damage pace looks good enough. He's taking hits, do more damage. I want to see Kale finish off purple before red lands, so they don't start the phase just in time.
Yeah, he's got
just in time.
Oh, beautiful quick kill from both of them. Oh my gosh.
Ziggy's was slightly faster, so it evened it out.
They're going into Pass and Decay at the exact same time.
What is this? Have you seen a race this close at this point of the game? They're still synchronized. I mean, we said this race was going to be close at the start of commentary, but that's just lip service to people having similar PBs. This game is swingy. There's so many mistakes you can make in this game. The tiny slip-up can be 2 seconds or 40. This is actually such a good race. And
Yeah.
I just want to... Oh, Ziggy takes the lead again.
Here's where I would say, like, oh, you know, Path of Decay, we'll see who does this part better, and I'm sure we'll come out with somebody in the lead here, but, I mean, that's what I would have said about every section.
Yeah, but this area is like notable for having really choky, difficult platforming. There's a lot of things that are deceptively hard. There's a lot of fast strats you can go for a couple more seconds that add a lot more risk. And this race, too, was extremely important for these two runners. Oh, please don't choke on Strawberry, either of you. Ziggy was so close. Kale got through. Really tight squeezes between those black holes with their deceptive hitboxes. What I was going to say, though, is that this race is really important for these runners because they're both 2-1 in Swiss right now. Whoever wins is pretty much guaranteed final bracket. And whoever loses is going to have to win Week 5 if they want to get into the final bracket. This is a really important race for these runners. And they are treating it like it's that important. They are neck and neck.
Yeah, both on the climb now. Oh, Kale is doing sloth strats on the worms.
That is so fast. Wow, I'm super impressed.
Oh no,
he
but
screwed up. He lost his platform. You get
Yeah.
to see Sloth strats again. Look at that. That takes a lot of control because Sloth takes a huge amount of like pre-swing up time before. It
Oh my
finally
gosh,
releases.
he even like tanks a hit so that he can hit the conving and the worm
he
at the
kills
same
the config and
time.
the worm simultaneously. That's so impressive.
Yeah, that is.
It's a shame he messed up the top of the climb and didn't have perfect control on the skeleton because he was wowing us on the worms. Skeleman though sort of flew to an awkward angle where he couldn't get shot, giving Ziggy more of a lead.
Yeah.
Ziggy, does he go for fast bone stake? He does it sometimes. I think in a race, I want to see him play it safe, but if he goes for fast bone stake, you'll know what it is, because you'll see him doing something weird, and we will start screaming. Okay, he's not doing it.
He's going safe.
You can abandon snake early and land on that collapsing wall as it's collapsing to get your jumps back. Saves like 2 seconds, it's not safe.
I have a feeling Kale's gonna do it.
I have a feeling he is as well. Ziggy's got his meatball transformation. This only lasts for like the rest of this area and the boss, and then you lose it. It's a temporary free-flying transformation. Okay, Kale, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do fast bone snake? Nah,
Nope.
okay, they're playing it safe. I don't blame them. This race has a lot on the line, and they're really close.
Yeah, I agree with playing it safe.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this meatball thing, really limited time of the transformation, but you get the gas and it gives you more meatball time.
Oh,
And that's...
Kale went for
of them
that kind of weird
platforming.
thing.
Yeah, it went for the corner clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's based on the cycle of the wiggling spikes, and it's actually pretty tricky. Ziggy's almost at the boss. Does he get one cycle this turn? Yes, he does. His flutters of the mouth is pretty hard, actually, because you bonk your head on the platform above. Oof. Okay, Ziggy had to play it safe and finish the enemy off, but he's basically coming onto the boss right now. Kale's catching up.
Kale did just have another platforming death, though.
Yeah,
So yeah, Path of Decay split him up a little bit here.
this is gonna come down to like the end bosses, which are famously choky, and just not only dying to them, but there's a huge variance in the time it takes to kill the last two bosses. Just because like the RNG they give you and the execution it takes to do good damage to them. This boss is relatively the same time every time, as long as you don't over-damage her to where she briefly becomes invincible. If you maintain a relatively even damage pacing where you always see some purple surrounding her, you've got good damage pace. It's easy to lose your damage pace because when she surrounds you with red shards, those trigger when you attack. So unless you can be really smart, 5000 IQ, and find a way to dodge and attack simultaneously, you can't really do damage there. Most players go into demon form to dodge it because it's hard to dodge it in human form.
So yeah, the path separated them just a little bit, where Kale had some more mistakes, and so definitely is coming into this boss later. However, they are still fighting this boss at the same time. And any time that the two players are on the same checkpoint, that means if the leader makes a mistake, the lead is flipped. So this is still very, very close.
Yeah, I think Ziggy's got tons of health left. He's been playing it safe. He still has lots of platforms. He's been good about raising platforms back up and staying away from black holes. So, yeah. He's got like 30 or so seconds ahead of Kale here.
And it's worth noting, I'm not sure if this is exactly right, but I think every other time that both players have been on Azrael at the same time has been because Azrael killed one of them.
Yeah,
and they lost a bunch of time because of it. Not because
Kale put her invincible. Unfortunate.
Yeah, not because they've been tied up the entire time until then. Looks like Kale just tanked some red shards in order to get some damage in, but then that damage just red shielded her. Yeah.
It's looking scary for him at this point.
Yeah, he doesn't have very many platforms left.
Ziggy's coming up on the final two bosses really soon.
Okay, Kale's got this.
He's probably going to use the safe weapon on the next boss, which is the long-range weapon. It takes a lot of skill to use a closer-range weapon on the boss, since he wiggles a whole ton in his animations, and he also tries to knee you in the face if you get too close. The main part of damaging this boss is going to be breaking and hitting spikes back at him when he puts them in the ground. Headshots with the spikes will do 50% more damage. Ziggy's actually going for the close-range weapon, but as you saw, his animations move him a lot, and it's really easy to get hit. One headshot. Two headshots.
Beautiful. Two in the eyes. Also gave him a tracheotomy.
The other thing to notice is that when you're hitting with your weapon, he only really takes damage to the chest, so that's why it's so dangerous to use a close-range weapon. You can only really do it when he's committed to another animation, to safely not take damage.
Another beautiful 3 spike.
He's managing the skull pretty well. If you take too much yellow gas, whether you get trampolined to the top or you let the skull touch you, you will enrage the boss, which you really, really, really don't want because he's invincible during that. This is a beautiful kill by Ziggy. Okay, it was a beautiful kill until those spikes didn't work out because he's dead now, but it's still pretty fast, especially because Kale uses a slower weapon.
Yep. It's
the same. Much safer. It's still pretty fast considering you can hit him a lot more often, but it is a slower weapon.
Yeah. Oh, and then he switches to Pride for spikes. Interesting.
You can hit all 3 spikes with Lust, but when the fight gets faster, it requires you to damage the 3rd spike while you break the 2nd, so it requires some finessing. Ziggy's coming in the final boss. As long as he doesn't die to the final boss, he can get a slow kill and still win the race. He's just trying not to choke this.
Oh yeah, and Kale is having a pretty rough Joel here, where
it's not looking good for him.
He's getting a lot of yellow bar and just kind of taking some accidental damage.
If Ziggy doesn't die to this boss, he might get under Kale's PB as a race time, which would just be so difficult for Kale to race against. Ziggy's making good progress. This is pretty good RNG. Oh, he took a hit, though, from the wiggling of the animation. Final boss is hilariously choky because you're constantly taking damage. If you miss getting any of those green life orbs, you're going to take a lot of overall damage, since the orbs just mitigate the damage you're constantly taking.
Yeah, you're poisoned in the fight, constantly losing damage, so that's what the orbs are there for.
You
is
can only really do
just for
damage to
that.
the boss's face as well.
Yeah, you can shoot him anywhere, but his face does significantly more damage, and then also it does more damage if you kind of spread out your orbs a little bit as
Ziggy
well.
got Quick and Rage. His damage pacing is really good here. He has lots of HP left. Just play it safe, Ziggy. I'd say on a PB attempt, you tank this laser so you don't have to dodge it, but he really needs to play it safe just to clutch out this race.
Yeah,
Lots of HP left.
because if he dies, Kayle is instantly in the lead.
I'm sweating. He's got so much HP, he can't mess this up now.
So in this race, there were no major swings, no major chokes.
Well, Miyogi too.
I mean, the Miyogi 2 skip was a big deal, yeah.
Ziggy almost got a 30. He almost got a 38. That's like a really low 39.
Yeah.
GG's to Ziggy.
Yeah, Ziggy did it, didn't choke, and took him out. I was just saying that this is like the first race where it's just been all the way to J2,
Yeah.
a race
Super,
the entire
super
time.
Close. It was down to the wire to the very end. Insane. Can we just say that if Ziggy got Miyogi 2 skip, he would have gotten the PB?
Oh yeah.
I'm not joking. Anyway, let's get we'll get Ziggy in here for a winner's interview in just 1 second. Oh, Ziggy's actually joined us in the commentary lounge already.
Yeah,
How's it going, Ziggy?
it's going very well. Really happy about that run. I was a little bit stressed because I know Kayle's a really good player, and
No,
I was reading the chat during the
Super
race.
close.
Yeah, I was reading the chat. I entered Miyugi 2 35 seconds ahead of my PB, and people were saying, "Oh my God, it's super close." And I was going like, well, "What the hell is Kayle doing right now?" Because
He was playing
I
really
was
well.
having a good run right now.
You
And-
killed Miyogi 2 at like exactly the same time because he was behind and he got the skip and you didn't. You were completely synchronized for the longest time. You entered Path of Decay within seconds of each other.
Holy crap! And well, seriously, I would have PB'd
Yeah, if not for Miyogi 2 skip.
if I had M2 skip. Then again, the Chambers was some kind of a clown fiesta, but
Your
I
in-game
go-
time was almost a 38, dude.
yep, 39:03. That's nice. That's pretty good. I've been having pretty consistent sub 40 runs now, and I played with safer strats this run than I do in runs. But yeah, so I was pretty confident I would get sub 40.
That was clean as hell. I'm really impressed by that race time. That was just very good.
Yeah.
If you got Miyogi skip, it probably would have been the fastest race time in the tournament. So far.
Yeah, and Kayle
Yeah,
finishes
probably.
up.
Kayle finishes
Go ahead,
right
go
after.
ahead, Dash.
Oh yeah, I was just saying Kayle finished up as well. He got a sub 40 time as well.
That's crazy.
I did make it easy for Kayle to beat me, I think. Well, now I'm really glad I got a gold Path of Decay in that run, because, wow, that could have been dangerous.
Yeah.
When was there a separation? Because we finished
Path of
about
Decay.
Path of Decay? Okay.
Yeah, it was during the meatball section.
Oh, okay. Just to explain something to the people that are watching at home. The meatball section on controller is hard with a capital H. And in fact, if all 4 letters are capital, it's really, really hard to do the meatball section quick on controller. And Kayle also plays on controller, so it's not a surprise. I could have shown there as well.
I almost said something about it. I noticed that on the room where you have to jump, you have to hit the heart that's underneath that little thing that has spikes on it, and then you have to go up and around it to collect the gas and hit it again.
Yep.
I noticed that you guys don't really do diagonals on it. You kind of go,
No.
you kind of like make a square around it instead of a circle. And I
Yeah,
almost said something about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's in general much harder to consistently hit a diagonal with controller than it is with keyboard, where you just press 2 buttons. I mean, it's easy. But yeah, I mean, you do a square. Just don't try to cut it close, because when you go from diagonal to straight, sometimes it's not going to be precise when your thumb is not going to be, say, on bottom or on right, and then you don't know if you're going to hit the corner. So yeah, you square it. You just go as much as possible right angles everywhere.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, and it's funny too. I always talk about the fact that on my first playthrough of this game, I was on controller, and on Space Meatball part, I couldn't do it, and I had to learn the keyboard controls.
Controller's hard. It really is.
Yeah.
Mostly for that section. So yeah, wow, I'm gonna shout out the runners and the commentators, for some follow links in the chat with the commands right now. Ziggy is currently 4th place in this game, and I think he kind of wants to take his 3rd back, like looking at what run he could get. I'm super impressed. Thanks to Speed Game for having us, but don't go away, because on this channel in about 40 minutes from now, we've got another race, and it's probably going to be the highest level race of the tournament as such so far, because we've got seed number 1 versus seed number 2.
Well, I mean, the race we just saw
Was so good. That was the best race I've seen yet.
Yep, and they're better than a Shark that is commentating.
It might not be as good of a race, though. Maybe it won't be as close. This was the most exciting race all tournament. You should be proud of that.
Oh, I'm really happy I won it, because like I said before, I didn't want to go 2-2 into week 5 because there's competition in this.
This is huge for you. You're guaranteed final bracket.
I'm happy I'm 3-1. Oh my god, like it's a lot of stress that's out.
Dude, you could go 4-1 and get an amazing seed for final bracket, but you are at least guaranteed final bracket, so you can breathe easy.
Yeah.
But show up playing like this next week, and you're really going to scare the heck out of someone.
I don't know, I'm gonna play better than that next week. I intend to get a 37 this week.
Gosh, I'm scared.
I am excited about that. So, yeah, as Shark was saying, in 40 minutes we've got Cake versus Shark, which is our number 1 seed versus our number 2 seed. So it'll be a as close a match as you can predict. And I'll be on commentary with Matrick for that. So stick around.
Anything else we got to say before we go for the moment?
GG to Kale. I mean, I know he's good, but I didn't expect him to follow me on a good PB pace up to Mugi 2. Like, that's really good.
On the same second.
That is impressive. Kale is gonna get a 38 soon. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and again, stick around in 40 minutes for another race. See you later.
See you, everyone.